Disclaimer. Comments made in this video are intended solely for entertainment purposes and are not meant to harm or offend anyone.
You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Everything woke turns to shit. And our country will be woke no longer.
Love him or hate him, Donald Trump is a political force of nature that's impossible to ignore. His bold, often unfiltered remarks have made him one of, if not the most controversial figures in modern history. While his words offend many, others rally behind him as a champion against what they see as the woke agenda, believing he's the one to lead the charge in saving the world. Let's take a closer look at how Trump has taken on the woke movement.
This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council.
Trump has implemented numerous changes since taking office, and this is only the beginning. Watch as he tackles these woke ideologies and puts them to rest once and for all.
And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction. And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back. And our country will be woke no longer. And I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Let's take a look at a moment when a feminist, known for her woke stance, attempted to cancel Trump at a conference. She went as far as accusing him of misogyny. Needless to say, things didn't go as planned. Watch closely to see how it all backfired.
So maybe I'm wrong, maybe you can prove me wrong, but I don't think that you're a friend to women.
I knew I shouldn't have picked her. I knew I shouldn't have picked her. All right, so let me give you that answer right now. I respect women incredibly. I have had women working for me in positions that they've never worked in terms of construction, in terms of so many different jobs. I had a woman who was in charge of the building of Trump Tower many years ago, before it was even thought, before anybody would have even thought of it, and did a fantastic job. I have given women more opportunity than I would say virtually anybody in the construction industry. I have a daughter named Ivanka and a wife named Melania who constantly want me to talk about women's health issues because they know how I feel about it, and they know how I feel about women.
Trump's response was powerful. He skillfully turned her accusations around. He didn't just defend himself, he went on the offensive, highlighting his history of empowering women in male-dominated industries. But it doesn't stop there. Wait until you see how this woke feminist reacts next.
I want to get paid the same as a man, and I think you understand that. So if you become president, will a woman make the same as a man, and do I get to choose what I do with my body?
You're going to make the same if you do as good a job. You're going to make the same if you do as good a job, and I happen to be pro-life. Okay, I'm pro-life.
In just a few words, he dismissed the entire concept of a systemic wage gap, reducing it to individual performance. Up next, we're diving into another controversy. Trump is about to weigh in on trans athletes in women's sports, and the audience's reaction clearly reveals what Americans truly think.
And by the way, we should not allow men to play in women's sports. See, it just shows you what these political geniuses, I have all these consultants, all these great... Sir, don't say that. It's very controversial. That's not written down anywhere. I just said, this might be a good time. So they said, don't do it. And that gets the biggest hand of the. Oh, it's crazy.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Trump has a major story on this issue that's so ridiculous, it's almost unbelievable. Just watch.
I tell the story of the great swimmer, great female swimmer, wonderful woman, beautiful woman. She's been swimming for many years. She wants to break the world record. And she's at the pool and she wants to break it by 1/8 of a second. That's like fast. And she's gonna do it. She's getting ready and she looks down, she sees all people she's been competing with for years because they rise to the top, and she looks over here and she sees people, but then she looks and they call this, they say this, she sees somebody with a man's body. That's what they do, they call it. I said, you think it's okay to say that? That's actually the expression they're using. They'll change that soon, so I have to do it quickly, I have to say it, because they're gonna change it. You know the guy, he was named Female Athlete of the Year, did you know that? It's true. He was just named female. We're not dealing with things that are so easy here, Newt. This is a difficult, crazy world. And she didn't break the record, but he broke the record that day. You know what the number was? 38 seconds. So she wanted to break it by 1/8 of a second, and he broke it by 38 seconds. Or the weightlifter, I think it was like 218 pounds. A ½ an ounce here, half little tiny ring on top of these big barbells, dumbbells. They go and she went like this. She got it right. Stood for 11 years. And her mother and father are screaming, you got it. You got it, darling. I'm so proud of my girl. Well, she couldn't do it. And then this guy comes along. He's named Dallas. And he looks at the weight. World record, world record. We could have put another couple of 100 pounds on. I think he would have lifted her. It's so disrespectful to women. And they say it's politically incorrect. It's so disrespectful to women. So horrible. So unfair. It's so unfair.
Trump wasn't finished impressing the crowd yet. His rally isn't truly complete without his signature brand of humor. Let's see why he's not just a politician, but an entertainer who knows how to captivate an audience.
And I'll tell you what, if I were ever, I'd be the greatest women's basketball coach in history. Because I don't like LeBron James. I like Michael Jordan much better. But I'd go up to LeBron James, it doesn't matter. I'd say, LeBron, did you ever have any desire to be a woman? Because what I'd love you to do is star on my team that I'm building up. I will have the greatest team in history. They'll never lose. Nobody will come within 70 points of this team. Now we have to change that, and we have to make it okay to talk about it. You know, the young lady I was talking about is afraid to talk about it. She's shunned and she's canceled when she talks about it. This is crazy. Right, Kellyanne? I see my Kellyanne. We love Kellyanne. I love Kellyanne.
Trump's final words carry significant weight, highlighting a topic that many are afraid to discuss: woke culture, due to the fear of being canceled. Speaking of cancel culture, let's turn our attention to one of Trump's most controversial statements. With his trademark bluntness, he boldly declares what many people believe, but few are willing to voice. There are only two genders.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures, and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable.
Trump is going all in on the new gender rules and changes. In this next clip, his no-holds-barred attitude is about to be on full display.
As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parents' consent. The identity will not be new, and it will not be without parental consent. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today. It was all when the radical left invented it just a few years ago. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much.
As woke culture continues to rise, so does the fear of backlash. Throughout this video, Trump positions himself as both a defender of women's rights and an entertainer. But most importantly, he presents himself as the one standing against woke culture. If you're interested in seeing more examples of woke ideology being challenged, be sure to subscribe and check out our previous video.